turn it down. Still too loud. Turn it down. Thank you. Good night.
You got a good sound man as well.
It's typical though for the Midlands to get a shite crowd. Fucking really typical. Because last night was great, sold out. The night before sold out. Oxford was great. Where was a shite crowd? We had a shite crowd one of the nights. Or did we?
I didn't think that was possible these days.
Newcastle wasn't. Well, it was good though. It was in a kind of a working men's club though. Not a great room.
Who's booking the gigs?
No, they're good. Adastra, fucking brilliant.
Oh yeah.
Jesus.
I looked at your schedule. It's punishing
Yeah.
for this year, man.
It's going to be tough now from next week on. Well, we do
Australia
Ireland next
soon,
week, and
yeah.
then we've got kind of 2.5 weeks. Then the fun starts.
Australia.
New Zealand,
Yeah.
West Coast of America,
Oh,
all in the one sweep. And then it's flat out for the summer too. But it's good because with the new album, you know, you want to kind of give
That's
it a
it.
good whirl. And
What?
Japan now wants us to go out for December. Because we were hoping to do Japan on the way out to Australia, like that would of course make sense. But they weren't kind of that keen at the time until they heard the album, right?
yeah.
So now they've got the album and now they want to bring us out, but we've already we made arrangements when we couldn't do Japan on the way out to Australia to do the West Coast of America on the way back.
Right. Full circle.
Yeah, so now we couldn't do Japan on the way out, we'd be fucked.
Yeah.
So December now looks like Japan as well. So we had all along been thinking we'll do all the summer, all the kind of European festivals, back out to America, and kind of work up until October. Then we do a month in Holland in November, and then have December, January
I'll be
off.
over for that.
Yeah. Now
A month in Holland.
Yeah. We did 2 weeks there last year, and that was the start of the introduction. Like, it's an amazing country to tour.
Yeah.
Do you think you can do a month of theatre gigs in fucking a small country like
I know.
Ireland? And they're all really well funded,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
you know, all well promoted. It's just,
Yeah.
you know, getting the awareness out there. But this guy's great, the guy that books us. He does Mountain Haze as well. And he doesn't do a lot of, he's not one of these that does every folk act and every trad band. And he's just got 2 or 3 and he concentrates on them.
That's great. That's what you want.
Because that's when you can get the saturation, then you can get 3 weeks in a month. Like when they've got so many to choose from, you'll just get 4 or 5 gigs a year here and there, and it's not worth going out for. But the thing is, last year we did 2 weeks, but we just stayed in 2 hotels for the whole time, because like the country's so small and it's so easy to get around. Basically, you just did an hour and a half or a 2 hour drive each day to get to the gig, and an hour and a half from home at night. It's great. It was like fucking being at home.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah. No, you get the day in a hotel and you don't have to keep packing up and going out. So
That's it.
worked out class.
Yeah.
It's great.
Redwood. What happened?
The story of Redwood.
Whatever happened? Because I got a copy, but it wasn't the same copy as I saw other people's copies, and
Well, mate, hopefully you got the right copy then.
I think I got one from you guys.
Oh, you definitely got the wrong one then.
I got the wrong. It's the dodgy copy.
The only actually there's 3 versions.
3.
There's 2 musical versions. There's an incorrect and a correct version, right? But then you've got the incorrect version with the incorrect artwork. You've got the correct version with the incorrect artwork, and then you've got the correct version with the correct artwork. Now the correct version with the correct artwork is only available from our website or from us on the road or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
The incorrect version and the incorrect artwork is what Green Linnet brought out.
Yeah.
And, you know, without our permission and without our approval. And after an awful lot of legal entanglements,
has it sorted itself out yet?
Not 100%. It's sorted itself out insofar as they agreed to change the music, put the correct CD out.
That's nice.
Which was a start. But we actually have no leverage in dictating to them what artwork they use.
Okay.
I mean, for the previous albums we did with them, we delivered them the artwork, and they were cool with that, and they honoured that. But because we kind of peed them off a little bit because of us going legal with it and going public with it.
Well, you're not the only ones.
No, I mean there's five big cases against them. They kind of dug their heels in and they used this really substandard art. I mean, we got to the root of it. Basically, our artwork was the correct artwork depicting scenes from the studio, depicting scenes from our rehearsals in California. You know, it kind of was a complete picture. The redwood scene on the front and on the back were, you know, proper photographs, originals that we had gained permission from the artist to use, everything like that. Now, basically Green Linnet, because they got hold of a copy which wasn't our approved copy of the music, they then decided that they needed to kind of produce a cover. So they got hold of the tune information, but not the correct information, just got titles and stuff like that, put that on. And they used an old photograph from the band, 4 years old. Then there was 2 blank red pages because they had nothing to put into them. And the picture that they used on the front and on the back, it was from a royalty-free website. And you just go into this royalty-free website, you key in blue chair, and you get like hundreds of blue chairs that you can just download and use, and you don't pay any royalties on them. So they went in and put in redwood, and they got a selection of redwood trees, and they chose one, and then they did the most horrific thing. Like they put, basically the format they used to kind of doctor it a bit was Photoshop. Just put it into Photoshop and use swirl
around,
and there you go.
That's the one I've got. It did look a bit cheap and cheerful, I must say, but not of the quality that we used to anyway.
No, it was shoddy really, and it really tainted our kind of outlook for the album and everything. Yeah. But we're you know, we're happy that we at least dug our heels in, went public, made, you know, a bit of a scare and a scam, and then got the people to realise that Green Linnet weren't the kind of rolled in flour.
So you're doing this new one's your own company now, or? No,
that was the plan. We went. We were so pissed off with the kind of redwood thing. What the process, the legal process, did for us with Green Linnet and the redwood thing, it meant that we could get out of our contract. We kind of finished our recording contract with them because we delivered. That would have been our final album. So we were free then from Green Linnet, which was well worth, you know, paying the legal costs just to get away from them. Then we said, right, we'll go independent again like we did with the first album and record a live album, bring it out ourselves and license it to different people. That was the plan. We went in, recorded it, still with that plan in mind, and then Compass Records, who Killian had recorded with, and who Mike and John release in America with. And there's a whole crew of musicians in the UK now and Ireland that have licensed their material through Compass. So Compass got in touch with us and they signed us for a worldwide deal. We're the first band that they've signed for a worldwide deal. And they came up with a great deal, and it was...
Well, the album looked great, the whole presentation.
I mean, we really wanted to go totally the other way now. We wanted to say, okay, we want to go for one of them kind of groovy, kind of eco, cardboardy kind of thing. And we always wanted to do that with the Green Linnet albums, but Green Linnet would never pay the difference. They were saying, it costs 80 cents to do a plastic one, and it costs 89 cents to do a cardboard one, and we won't pay.
Yeah.
So
They're really
you know,
shooting themselves in the
difference.
foot, these guys. Yeah.
They
So
don't know.
you're happy with the new album?
Delighted.
Yeah, I haven't heard it yet. I must say.
Well, I mean, I'm delighted with the approach, and I'm delighted with
Because it was
the
live,
outcome.
wasn't it?
It's all live.
All
yeah.
live, yeah, fantastic.
Which was a nice.
It's kind of gone back to the old Harcourt days and the lobby and all that, where you've got that.
Well, that was the plan.
vibe, yeah.
But it's funny because it was recorded in Kinnity Castle in a small in a drawing room. You know, it kind of lovely acoustics, tight sound, and it, you know, really nice, natural kind of ambient sound. So we recorded it there with no PA for the audience, but the microphones, of course, were going directly to tape. But the audience were really well behaved because they could see the mics and they were scared shitless. So like there was actually there's no background noise at all.
So absolutely silent.
It's totally silent. And then at the end of the track,
Polite clapping.
like, well, I mean, they actually went berserk a few times. But it sounded.
How many did you have in there?
It held about 50 people.
That's it.
That was it, yeah.
Drawing room.
And we had 3 nights there, so you know it was
Fantastic.
but we just wanted to keep it contained like that. And when we were listening back to the stuff, the audience just seemed totally false. Because there was only 50 people there, and because they were so well behaved during the tracks, and then you got this kind of over the top applause because they knew it was being recorded and they wanted it to be brilliant.
Yeah,
but actually what they
yeah.
did was make it sound really kind of OTT.
Yeah. What did you do?
Well, we actually, because it sounded like that to us on the night, we still felt that it sounded okay.
Didn't you
But when
record?
we
Did you
delivered
record
it-
all 3 nights?
Yeah.
You did, yeah. So you took the best out of them.
Yeah, but when we delivered it to the record company, in fairness to them, like they just said, the audience sounds pretty crap, you know. Can we take that out? So we said, but then we recorded it live. We want the audience in. So they said, look, we'll master it both ways, master it with and without, and have a listen and see what you think. So they sent us the 2 versions, and we actually went for the one without the audience. So even
Lovely
though
though they
live,
were.
they were right, like.
Yeah.
Right. But I mean, a lot of people have said, you know, but for there's an inclusion in the liner notes to say that it was recorded live, you wouldn't know because.
Really?
No, the sound is really good. The sound is actually, I mean, I find the sound to be a lot beefier than, you know, like the last 2 albums. I think Otherworld was beefy.
Beefy, yeah.
Yeah, and it had lots of bass and good, strong guitar. I think the other 2, Merry Sisters and Redwood, just lacked a bit of the kind of ballsy element.
I think you're right, yeah.
So-
I noticed when I put it on my system, you know,
Yeah.
you play the first 2 and they've got like punch.
Yeah.
And the others, they're what I would class as polite. They
Yeah.
were very politely
Yeah,
mixed.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
So we-
glad I wasn't the only one thinking that.
No, I mean, we've always been aware of that. This one, I think, kind of goes, you know, it's grunge and it's dirtier.
Good.
But a lot of that is to do with our sound, man. I mean,
Yeah.
Richie is a lot
Oh, he's getting a great sound out
dirtier
there.
and grungier
Yeah.
than our last sound engineer.
Yeah.
Ed was brilliant. He was very pristine and really clean,
Yeah.
and you know that was the way he kind of worked.
Yeah.
And you know, certain tunes, it suited like a lot of the slower material, Ed's mix, and it suited a lot of the kind of more, you know, kind of ambient tracks, like the slower tracks, the whistly tracks maybe that didn't, you know, like Eleanor Neary's or The Last Pint or a lot of those, they were nice and they were majestic sounding and stuff. But for the fast stuff where you want the bass and the guitar to really kick in,
Yeah.
it didn't have that. But this has that.
What are you
There's a lot of
playing?
playing I'd
Yeah.
love to have changed, but
What are you playing tonight?
nearly
lot.
all Redwood, nearly all Kinnity stuff.
Kinnity, so it's going to be pretty much the.
Well, we're doing 10 tracks from the Kinnity album at the minute at the gigs.
Great.
So I mean, there's only 11 on the album, so we're only missing one. Yeah. But that each night we're changing. So actually, some nights there's 9, some nights there's 10. I think tonight we're back to the 10
Yeah.
because it was we did the 9 last night, so we're switching.
How's it going down with the folks? I mean,
Pretty good, I think.
are you finding many people have bought the CD and then come and expect to hear the tunes, or people are buying the CD at
No,
the gig?
it's still very new here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's only out 2 weeks, I think. So people are generally, there's a few that had it, like the diehards
Yeah.
that have bought it kind of early on and stuff. they have it, so they're primed and they kind of know what they're looking for.
Yes, there are some here in the corner.
The other, I mean, generally, it's great that it is live and that it is, you know, a true representation of what the gig is now.
Yeah.
The other albums, you know, a lot of it would have been worked up in the studio, or we would have thought that the special bits you would have needed to do in the studio. Whereas this, you know, we had to work out ways of recording this album that you'd still get the layered kind of textured sound, but that it would work in a live setting. So that therefore, like, basically everything we recorded on that album you could do at a gig, which is great, because maybe 40% of Redwood, 40% of Mary Sisters and stuff, we never actually played live.
No.
Because we felt that we couldn't deliver it really in its fullest form at a gig.
Yeah.
Because we had, you know, we'd layered different whistles and different...
I mean, I remember some tracks off the first couple of albums, there's like brass and cellos and... I mean, it really... I think those albums really put the band on the map.
Yeah.
But
the Other World was a big one. It was a big one.
To try and get that sound on a stage, you're talking about another 5 members probably.
Well, we reworked a few of those. The one, it's funny, the one with the brass and the one with the cellos, we did for a long time in a live fashion, and we kind of reworked them in a way that you could do them live. Yeah. But you nearly have to do that. You nearly have to say, right, we kind of half start from scratch, because there's no way we can really translate the kind of brass thing.
But as long as you capture the vibe of the track, which, I mean, I've seen it many times, it does. It's, I mean, you don't feel like you're lacking anything, but it's, as I say, when I first heard those,
one version playing against the other. Yeah.
Just good tunes though. Where are you getting your tunes from? I mean, who's the tune selector?
Me and Killian are the primary contributors of tunes, outside of the ones, say, that Dunne would write. Killian and myself would be the ones that would be listening to tunes all the time and would probably have a better handle on, you know, what's about.
And where do you find them? Are they just tunes you've had kicking around for years, or do you stumble over tunes, you know?
It's just slow enough. I mean, you fucking go, you look for them.
Yeah.
I mean, you do. I mean, there's tunes that you would forget about too. You'd listen to old tapes or stuff, and, you know, you'd have remembered maybe at the time that, geez, yeah, that was a great one, but you do forget.
Yeah.
And you have to constantly kind of go back and trawl through the old collections. And
so the new album, I mean, that's mainly your guys, you two
it'd be selections. Most of the tunes would be from me and Killian, I'd say. And then you've got a couple of Dunne's. Is there 2 Dunne's tunes on it?
Compositions?
Yeah. There's one of mine, one of Dunne's, and then the rest would have come from me and Killian. Really. I can't think of anything that Smithy fucking brought to the band in the last 10 years.
Not going the set.
unbelievable.
I wouldn't say that. That's a good one.
Okay, I wouldn't think something. I can't think of tunes.
Wicked. There we go. I'm going to just stick it over here. So this is the man that never says anything apparently. So I mean, you were in it from the beginning. Where did it start? I mean,
Lunasa?
the whole Lunasa thing. Yeah.
Myself and Trevor and Sean went over to Scandinavia to play a few gigs. It was kind of, myself and Trevor had time off. We were both playing with the Sharon Shannon band, and just to fill out a bit of time, somebody offered us some concerts in Scandinavia, and we basically just went over there and had a ball, had great fun, and we went over there another time then, and then we said, this is great.
This was just the three of you.
Yeah, just the three of us. So then we decided to get a few more together, and we got John McSherry and Mike McGoldrick, and we did a spate of gigs around Ireland, and we recorded them, and we made an album out of that recording, and we later added on some studio recordings to it. And that was it. And then very shortly after that, we got an offer to go to Australia for a month and a half, and John and Mike weren't available to do it, so we brought Kevin, asked Kevin would he be up for it, and Kevin was, and he's been playing with us since.
Yeah.
So that's been the setup ever since. It's been fantastic. It's gone great.
Yeah, and I mean the second album had Mike and John on and Kevin as well, didn't it? So it was kind of a transitional.
Yeah,
sort of,
well, we kind of had a. We hadn't really got a set piper at the time. John would play the pipes with us sometimes. Mike would play the pipes with us sometimes at the time, still for gigs and stuff, and there was one or two other people around who would, so whoever we could get at the time, you know, we didn't have an actual solid piper at the time, so yeah, and then it was great to get Mike and John in to play.
So how did you get Killian involved? Wasn't he playing in Riverdance over in New York or something?
Yeah, well, he was doing bits with Riverdance, and we had a few people, and I don't know, we just really clicked with Killian anyway, you know, we clicked with the others too.
Yeah.
I loved his piping and everything, so it just seems,
Yeah.
it was just natural selection really, you know,
Yeah.
kind of a buddy in here, so.
Great, yeah. So I mean, you did the Merry Sisters of Fate was the first kind of the new Lunasa setup, wasn't it?
Yeah, with Killian, yeah. So there's been two others since that, we're flying.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was all studio.
all studio, yeah, as was Otherworld as well.
Yeah.
And Redwood, and then we decided with the latest one, Kennedy Sessions, to go more, just to try and get that live sound, you know. We also wanted to do is not go into a studio for several months and all that kind of stuff. We didn't have the time or the patience, and we didn't want to spend a whole pile of money on making an album, so we just wanted to really capture, like in the studio, with the studio albums, as much as we love them, it's hard to capture just that live feel, that kind of, the energy, you know, and that's what we were really after, and we decided to sacrifice, you know, getting little things here and there, like mistakes and stuff, and there'd be no overdubbing, absolutely, because we're recorded live in a small little setting, there was no way we could change any of your parts afterwards, or fix any of your parts as you do in a normal recording session in a studio. So it worked well. We recorded 3 nights. The first night didn't come out, there was a problem with the recording. The second night I don't know, did we use anything off the second night? I think nearly everything came from the third night.
The third night?
Yeah.
So you'd had 2 goes at it, and then you were really sort of on top of the gig
so,
then?
Yeah, we were really happy with it. We just worked up all new sets in any gigs we had been doing before that. We were touring Holland, and I think we did a tour of America, and any chance we get, we put an hour in here and an hour in there and get new sets together and be working on them, and then we could gig them as well, and that's where you really get to feel them properly when you play them in front of an audience, and you can get to feel what a set needs or where it's going on or what's good about it or whatever, you know, and see the audience reaction as well.
I was going to say, with the audience, I mean, you've grown so big in the States now. I mean, you're almost like a national icon, you know.
Well, it's going great. It's going fantastic now for an instrumental diddly-eye band. Like
Absolutely,
it's going very well. Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't say. I mean, you've really sort of. I think just with the first 2 albums, you really sort of set a trend for. I mean, it's trad, but not as we know it, kind of thing.
Yeah,
it had other elements, which I think you've turned into your own sound now, and the Americans have just gone mad for it, you know. So you've got Australia under your belt, New Zealand. I mean, you're picking.
Well, we had Australia very well, but we've kind of neglected it over the last couple of years. We've been there once in the last 4 or 5 years now, I'd say. And you have to kind of be returning to a place to keep it going. But yeah, Japan is going particularly well for us. It's fantastic. America, good few spots. England is starting to take off for us now a bit. But we work hard. We do a lot of travelling, you know. We tour very hard, and every time you come back to a place, the venues get a bit bigger, and it just moves up slowly, and it's going great.
When did you feel that Lunasa had really kind of arrived? At what point for you?
I haven't.
You haven't?
Still waiting for that. I don't know, to be honest.
Because they're solidly on the map now.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true. No, we're definitely, a contender anyway.
Yeah,
which is
absolutely.
Yeah, no, I don't know when I realised that, or if I haven't really realised it, was just.
Well, realise it because it's definitely happening, you know, and it's great, you know. And I haven't heard I've heard some tunes off the new album tonight, but I'm waiting to receive my copy, so that'll be nice.
Oh yeah.
You don't have a copy?
I've not yet. No, she's got a copy.
Give it on right there now, Karen.
Oh, look at this!
Thank you, my beautiful assistant.
Look at that, placed in the hand. Excellent. Great. Okay, well, thanks for that. Excellent.